And finally, I could just tell he got pissed, and he just said, "Look, until you write a song that is better than this song, and it is a big hit like I think this song could be, because I think this song could explode you guys and put you on the scene. Until you write one of those, you are not coming out with another album." He just couldn't get out of it, man. He was just in a warp of alcohol and drugs and Hollywood every single night. I actually tried to stop playing music, believe it or not, when I was in my 40s.
Okay.
I became a police officer for Oakland.
No shit.
For me, I felt like, wow, this is really cool, man. I'm hanging out with Clive Davis. Puts me in a limousine, picks me up, takes me out to dinner. Looking back now, it's like, wow, they spent a lot of money on this promotion, and we just basically gave them the finger and said, fuck you. You know what I mean? They had a big audience, right? I mean, they could be massive right now. Who watches MTV now? I don't know anybody. It was the biggest bummer, really, of our career, not being able to have a ballad come out. Yeah, we sold quite a few albums on the first album. It really kicked ass. I think what happened on the second album was, Nirvana hit. And he was like, you don't understand. You just killed your career. I got to tell you a funny story that I've never told anybody. You will be the first person I ever tell.
Please.
We're not like that. We're not that happy-go-lucky. Let's have a good time and be goofy. You know what I mean? We're like, fuck you, we're going to kick your ass kind of band. When you hear this new album, you are going to be blown the frick away. I don't think like that either. It's like, fuck the money, man. I do this because I love music.
The hair metal guru from Warren to Crew. The hair metal guru. Never forget Charlie too.
Hey, I'm pumped to welcome Derek Davis to the show. Derek Davis, the lead singer of the mighty Babylon A.D., who came to fame on their 1989 debut album, which featured the hits Bang Go the Bells, Hammer Swings Down, and The Kid Goes Wild. Also put out the phenomenal Nothing Sacred in 1992 and are still going strong, and are apparently working on a new studio album that I can't wait to hear about. Derek Davis, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, man. I appreciate that.
Absolutely. And I know I didn't mention it in the intro, but I just wanted to say this before we even get into it, that I thought the album you put out last year, Rome Wasn't Built in a Day, was phenomenal. I put that right up next to your earlier stuff. So I just wanted to lay that out there.
Yeah, that's what we were trying to accomplish.
Yeah. So what I'll even shoot, I'm sure we'll talk about it at the end, but what's going on with the new album? And I think it's called When the World Stops. When are we going to be hearing more about that?
So When the World Stops is the album is going to be released in I think the last week of August. It's scheduled right now.
Okay.
We're going to have a single and a video drop. I think this is all in preliminary stages of talking with the record label and everything. August 7th, I believe it is, the day before we play the Whiskey Go-Go. We play that on the 8th. So we're trying to make everything in conjunction with our dates,
Sure.
And we're trying to line it up so everything hits right before we go to the UK. We're going to go to the UK and play Greece for a few weeks. So we're trying to get that whole tour situated where we have an album to promote at the same time. And everything's, we just got finished mixing.
Okay.
The mixes came out great. We just sent it to the mastering house. The mastering house actually sent me the masters today, but I just still haven't had time to listen to them yet.
Sure.
But I'm sure they sound great because I trust the guy that's doing the mastering.
Sure.
So yeah, man, we're pretty excited. We took our pictures for the record last week. We shoot the video this weekend. So we're firing on all cylinders, man. We're going.
Is this going to be on Paris as well?
No, actually, this one's going to be on KLOL Records.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're going to go with KLOL Records this time. Tom Mathers, the president of Paris Records.
Yep.
He's kind of semi-retired now. He's retiring,
Okay.
So he was basically going to do just one, maybe two more albums, and we'd had long conversations. And I've known Tom for probably 30 years now.
Yeah.
So I mean, we were originally just going to go with Tom off the bat, but then the more we talked, it was like, KLOL seems to be a better fit. And he said, yeah, go ahead and go with him because really he wants to go fishing and retire.
Sure.
So that's what's going on.
Awesome. And we'll talk more about that, and we'll talk about the album that you put out last year and everything that's been going on with the band. But I would kind of like to go back to the beginning and like when do you get your start in music? Like what is it when do you know as a kid that, hey, this music thing, that's going to be the direction that I take in life?
to be honest with you, my first recorder, little handheld reel-to-reel recorder, I got when I was 7 years old.
Yeah.
And I think it was just the fact that my mom had a radio that played next to me in my sister's bed all night long. I
Right.
mean, you're talking like the Beatles, the Monkees, Rolling Stones, just whatever was the rock station, KGO, I think it was at the time.
Yep.
And, so I just heard that in my head all the time. And pretty soon I'm imagining that I'm one of the Monkees or one of the, just imagination runs wild as you're a kid.
Yeah.
And I started playing drums when I was 8.
Okay.
And then, it just went from there. Then I started playing guitar. Then I started singing, and I just kept on going and going. Learned how to play keyboards, bass, basically all the instruments I could. I can't play saxophone or nothing like that, but
Sure.
I could cheat a little with the keyboard, make it sound like
Sure.
sax,
Sure.
But
And
yeah,
you grew up in California, right?
yeah, I did. Hmm.
What part of California are you from?
In the Bay Area. I'm
Okay.
from a town called Hayward, which is about 10 miles away from Oakland, California.
Sure.
I was born in Oakland, and a couple of the other guys were too. So we always, when we're on the road, it's kind of like from Oakland, California, Babylon A.D., because you really can't say from Hayward, California. Nobody's
Right.
ever heard of it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
I get you. I get you. So when did you first start going, okay, like I'm gonna find some guys and I want to start playing shows? When did that come about?
That came about when I was in high school, like a freshman in high school. You're seventh and eighth grade, you really can't start a band at that age. I mean, I guess you could, but I always kind of wanted to be the leader, of course, so it had to be
Sure.
my band, because I'm the singer and the songwriter and stuff. And there wasn't
Yeah.
anybody that was writing songs when I was in the ninth grade, but me, really,
Okay.
So I hooked up with another guy that was in the same exact grade with me. His name was Chris Martinez. Um, and he was from a very musical family, and he was a great guitar player already. So him and I hit it off just like that. And
Right.
we formed a couple bands in the Bay Area for about 3 or 4 years. And pretty soon we were headlining everywhere. This is
Yeah.
by the time I was like 20 years old, we were playing, headlining the Stone and the Keystone
Sure.
Berkeley. And it was pretty cool, man. We even went to, we got management. Tony Kilbert was our manager, and he was the program director at Camel radio station in San Francisco. It was a huge radio station at the time, and he was our manager. And we were 20 years old by the time we got out of high school, and the band was really going. And
Yeah.
next thing you know, I find myself at the record plant, record labels looking at us and everything. So, I mean, sky was the limit at that age,
What was the name of that band?
That band was called Candy.
Okay.
And we were kind of like Motley Crue. And we played with Motley Crue a couple of times,
Okay.
I think we were a lot more
Sure.
pop than that. We were kind of like Queen meets Aerosmith meets Motley Crue, kind of like,
Okay.
um, that's kind of like the kind of sound we were. But the funny thing is, I still have all those old recordings,
Really?
record plant, and they sound good. So there's always been that thing in the back of my mind for years and years and years, man. Someday I gotta have to put this out. You know what I mean? Even though it was made in 1982 or whatever,
I'll throw this out there, like I kind of do some promotional stuff for, you probably heard of F&A Records. I mean, that
Yeah.
sounds like
Yeah,
the
I've heard
kind
of
of
them.
label that likes doing that kind of thing.
Yeah, I've definitely heard of them. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I've got tons and tons and tons of music not released. I've got stuff that I've written with Jeff Parris, Jack
Okay.
Pawnee, a lot of different heavyweights that are the demos, like for
Yeah.
the albums. And
Yeah.
that's another thing I've been thinking about, in between making albums. It's like, there's fans out there that want to hear this stuff. I know I would. I've got stuff,
Absolutely.
what the funny thing is, by writing with those kind of guys, I've got stuff like from John Waite,
Oh,
like
no way.
demos of him.
No way.
Like that my songwriter friends would give me, hey, check it out. I wrote a song with John Waite.
Right.
Or Glenn Ballard wrote a song with Rod Stewart. Hey, I wrote a song with Rod Stewart. Check it out.
Right.
It never came out though.
Yeah.
But I got the demos, so it's kind of cool in a way. You got a little history there.
That's kind of like F&A is putting out a lot, old demos, unreleased stuff, even if it's not like in perfect, obviously demos aren't going to be professional quality, but
Yeah.
anyway, I'll hook you up with I call him Doc Steve from F&A, and you guys can chat. But
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I've
awesome.
definitely been thinking about it in the last 6 months or so, because it was really weird. I just went up in my attic in my house, and I had all these tapes, and I mean, I was overwhelmed. I had four track recordings, I had 8-track recordings,
Yeah.
16-track recordings. I mean, all the bands I'd ever played in, and I was like, wow, I just kind of forgot about all this stuff, you
Yeah.
know?
Oh,
So
I would love to hear. I mean, I'm a big fan. I would love to hear that kind of stuff. I
yeah,
love hearing
it's like
where
a
it
little
came from.
mini treasure trove, and I haven't even listened to them all. I
Sure,
probably only listened to about maybe 20 songs out of there's probably about maybe 100,
sure,
you know?
sure. Well, that's shit. Well, so it's called Candy. Have you ever heard of the Hollywood band Candy? They put out an album called Whatever Happened to Fun.
Yeah, I think they came way after us. So
Okay, sure. Okay. All right. So okay, so that's Candy. When is the genesis of putting together Babylon AD?
uh so that came together after Candy broke up due to I mean it was cocaine land over here in California, and a couple of guys got caught up with that. Of course, you're 20 years old, 19 years old, like I'm going to be a rock star. So what are you doing? You're putting the white shit up your nose.
Yeah.
And so the band really broke up. It wasn't me. It was a couple of other guys got caught up in it. So that band broke up. Then I formed a band called Audio, who did really, really well too. We put out a
Okay.
5-song EP and did a single and things like that. And then Jamie, I started playing with Jamie. Well, he was in Candy, and
Okay.
then I started playing with Audio after the band broke up, and then he called me and we put together the band Persuaders with John Matthews and Ron Fresky. And the Persuaders morphed into Babylon AD when we got our record deal
Okay.
because we found out that there was another band called the Persuaders who had
Okay.
the song "It's a Thin Line Between Love and Hate." You
Oh
know,
yeah.
we didn't even know. But it's like you got to change your name. There's another band called Persuaders. We like there is.
No shit.
Yeah.
So how did that name come to?
Well, we were living in Hollywood right at the time that we were signed the record deal.
Yep.
Uh, and there was a store that had a lot of different shirts. And I remember seeing a shirt hanging up that said something like Hollywood Babylon. And I
Okay.
bought the shirt. And then I just said, Heck, Babylon, that'd be a cool name.
Okay.
We kind of, and then we had to make sure we looked that up and made sure anybody had it,
Sure.
kind of thing. So
Sure.
we tagged on the AD, and then the rest is history.
So did you guys start off in San Francisco and then move to Hollywood, or how
Yeah.
did?
Yeah, so we started out in the San Francisco Bay Area and basically got to a point after about a year and a half where we played all the clubs around here, the Omni, the Stone, I mean the biggest clubs
Yep.
that there was at the time. All the national acts were playing them, and we weren't a national act,
Yeah.
but we were headlining them because we had huge crowds at the time. So I me and my drummer went down to LA, and we met a guy named Jay Mala who became our manager, and he used to actually be the lead vocalist for Joe Perry Project.
Right.
Uh, he was on tour with Joe Perry Project, so he had some connections. He knew
Yeah.
people in the record business. And he told us, he said, "Look, man, I love you guys' demo. He came out and seen us, and he said, I love your demo. I love you guys' look. I love everything about you. If I don't get you a record deal in 6 months, you can just fire me. I don't need no money, no nothing." And
Okay.
sure enough, 6 months later, man, we were, before all the record labels and everything. It was kind of like a little dream come true. And then so the decision was made that since we started playing Hollywood a lot, we started playing, Troubadour and different places down there.
Yep.
Uh, it was just the decision was made that there's nothing left for us here we're a big band in a small pond now.
Yep.
Maybe we'll be the little band in the big pond, but let's try to conquer that like we did,
Yep.
San Francisco. So it was the craziest thing, man. We got there, I think, like on a Wednesday night. We had a 1-bedroom apartment with 6 guys, and we kind of draped off everything in the rooms, like this is my spot, that kind of thing. And then Friday night, we'd only been there 2 nights, and Friday night, Clive Davis called our manager and said, "I'm coming into town tomorrow, and I want to see the guys at SIR Studio at 12 o'clock." We didn't have our equipment, we didn't have nothing, man, because we just moved in. And we just went, holy, it was a dream come true. But at the same time, it was like panic, it was like, what? We only got one day,
Yeah.
We got to the studio about 6 o'clock in the morning, I think, and rented a bunch of gear and everything like that and rehearse. And we played 5 songs. And Clive Davis came with two A&R guys from New York.
Yep.
and two A&R guys from the West Coast, and our manager, and they sat on a big giant couch right in front of us. And as soon as we hit the last chord, it was like we looked at him, and he literally seemed like, to me, my memory is like, jumped off the couch,
Yeah.
you know. And he came up to me, and I was standing on stage. He grabbed my hand. He said, "Welcome to the family, boys." And it was I got to tell you, that's something in my mind that always stay there. It's
I,
crazy.
I'm, how did he hear about you?
Well, so Jay, our
Yep.
manager, had been shopping us, and Arista
Okay.
helped us, and they said, "Look, he had actually seen us 6 months before in San Francisco with an A&R, a couple A&R guys, and they
Okay.
said, 'Man, we love you guys, but you guys are still green.'" We were green. I mean, we'd only been together about a year or 8 months or
Sure.
something.
Sure.
But you could tell that there was something there. And I
Sure.
had a long conversation with Clive after we did an audition for them the first time, and he was saying, "Look at Derek, I've done this a million times, man, and I know you got something. I could see it right now. You remind me of like a young Steven Tyler or something, where things are going to happen, but you're still young, and I just need you guys just to grow, keep writing, keep working, keep writing, keep working, keep playing, keep doing what you're doing. And then 6 months later, he decided he wanted to see us.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So you get signed to Arista.
Mhm.
How many songs were you playing only originals when you were doing the club scene?
I would say we were playing about, well, at first it started off about 50-50, and then pretty
Okay.
soon it turned into maybe we had 5 or 6
Okay.
covers,
Okay.
a cool Doc and tune, or a cool
Sure.
rat song, or
Sure.
whatever that kind of fitted with our, repertoire.
This might be backtracking, but I know you're a big songwriter and you've done multiple solo albums. When was the first time you wrote a song and you're like, okay, shit, I think I might have something here. Like I might be good at this.
Yeah, it's funny because like we go back and we're talking about that candy band, right? When
Yep.
I was just right at high school. And I go back, I listen to songs, and I sent them to my sister and a few other people that were, you know, with us, and a couple of the band members that were in the band.
Yep.
And all of them went, "Holy smokes, I can't believe these songs weren't huge hits." Because they still have the pop sensibility.
Yeah.
The lyrics aren't corny.
Yeah.
They have the same kind of melody that I write now.
Yep.
But you know, uh, so I think I kind of always had that because I listened to a lot of Beatles, and I read a lot when I was younger about bands. That's all I did was read autobiographies, biographies, learned about songwriting, how to write a good song, things like that. And of course, I started writing with like Jack Pawnee. He helped me out a lot because he's written for everybody. Alice Cooper, Skid Row, Bon Jovi. He was in Bon Jovi before Bon Jovi was Bon Jovi.
Yeah.
You know, and he kind of helped me get a little bit of more formulated than I was a little bit used to. And at that time, there was a big thing on all the songs that were coming out. If you remember, intro, verse,
Yeah.
pre-hook, chorus, intro, verse, pre-hook, chorus, lead, breakdown,
Yeah.
chorus, out, or whatever. It was like a formula.
Yeah.
I didn't really write like that. I wrote like whatever is supposed to, where it felt like it's supposed to happen.
Sure.
Although there was hooks everywhere, it was
Yeah.
just, there was no, it wasn't just a formula.
Yeah.
So he kind of helped me get that niche that made all the songs a little bit more commercial. I guess I could say that.
Sure.
You know,
Did the record label hook you up with Jack Pawnee? Or how did
uh,
that collaboration come about?
I think our manager hooked us up
Okay.
with Jack, and when I met Jack, it was instant. We wrote
Sure.
6 songs in 2 days and went in the recording studio and recorded 6 songs
Wow.
just like that. While he was recording the music, I was writing the lyrics, sitting there
Right.
writing. It was just like, we know we got good music. All you got to do is write the lyrics and melody, dude.
Right.
You know.
Right.
So
Okay.
that's how songs like Hammer Swings Down came about.
Yep.
Uh, Kid Goes Wild came about like that. I had Desperate probably about 70. Well, I had the whole song, but Jack said, "Let's make a bigger chorus."
Yeah.
That kind of thing. Like, and I thought, no, the song's cool as it is. But then when we put the bigger chorus in, it's like, okay, now it's more universal.
Sure.
You know?
Sure. So you go in and you record with Simon. Is it Hanhart? Is that how you
Yeah,
pronounce
Simon
his last
Hanhart.
name?
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
so what was what was the recording process like? Did you like it? Because some people talk about the studio like it fucking sucked.
Yeah.
It was all pulling teeth, and some people love it. What was it like for you?
Well, okay. So here's the thing with us, man. I mean, as a band of five guys from the Bay Area in a band, I mean, pretty much at that time we were party animals, you
Yeah,
know. So by the time we got in the studio and started recording the album with Simon, who didn't drink or anything, after about 3 weeks or so, we had a big meeting with the record company, and the record company's like, "You guys are wasting money. You're wasting our time." Simon was like, "I can't get nothing done because you guys show up all fucked up all the time."
yeah,
Um, and I got to get something done here, but you guys are just like partying. I mean, the studio's great. I mean, there's Cher right there next to you doing her album. There's Robert Palmer over there,
right,
so you're kind
right.
of like starstruck and you're just partying all the time.
Yeah,
And
sure.
of course, so anyways, so finally we got our shit together and we started recording. Unfortunately, John Matthews, the lead guitar player at the time, who'd been with us since the very beginning, he just couldn't get out of it, man. He was
Yeah,
just in a warp of alcohol and drugs and Hollywood every single night, and I tried to dial it back. I moved out of the apartment with the guys and I got my own apartment in the same building, St. James Place in Hollywood. But at least I had my own space, you
yeah,
know. And I mean, and everybody at that place, the St. James Place, it was just a madhouse, man. Everybody you could think of, the guys in Extreme lived there. Charlie Sheen lived there. Some of the guys at Guns N' Roses lived there. I mean, it was like a madhouse. It was a party every single night. Billy Idol would be there all the time. So it was hard to get a grip on reality. You know what I mean? Because
sure.
everybody's patting you on the back. Oh, you got a record deal. You're gonna make $1 million. Blah blah this. Blah blah that. This facade that you've grown to believe.
Yeah,
You know. So and Simon, our producer, was like, "No, you guys got to get down to business, man. We got to stop fucking around."
yeah,
So, anyways, um, everything started going pretty smooth, and we started getting everything hashed out. Unfortunately, when we started doing the vocals, this is what you were talking about, the hated part.
yeah.
Simon and I couldn't get on in sync with the vocals, man, because uh, I don't know how to explain it to you, but he said whatever the monitors were playing with him, that's what I had to hear in my headphones. And I'm like, well, I don't want to hear the full mix with the reverb and everything. I just want to hear me and the music in the background to guide me. I don't have to be inside like this concert. I need the key that I'm playing in and stuff like that so that I can really concentrate on my breathing and things like that.
Yep.
So it caused a little friction between me and Simon a few times where
Okay.
I was just like, look, man, I can't do it, whatever. And he was like from the Mutt Lang school of recording where
Yeah.
you sing one verse, stop, listen. Next verse, stop, listen. And
Right.
that drove me nuts. I said, man, I need to sing at least a whole damn four lines,
Yeah.
stop and listen, 4 lines or whatever, so that I
Right.
could get into the song.
Yeah.
And one of the things that has always bugged me is I can hear it, but a lot of people think it's just this great performance. To me, it's the worst. For instance, I'm singing Desperate, right?
Yep.
And literally, I must have sang the opening line, Here We Sit. I must have sang that 50 times. I
Oh,
would go, Here we sit. Okay, try it again, mate. Here we sit. Try it again, mate. Here we sit. Try it again, mate. Here we sit. It's like, fuck, man. How am I supposed to sing a song if I'm just trying to like whatever he hears in his head? I'm like, man, I need to sing the whole damn thing or half of it or a quarter of it or 4 lines or something. So that song was torture. And finally, after enough arguing with him, the last 5 or 6 songs, he let me do whatever I want. And I blew those songs out in like 3 a day, you know?
okay.
And I think Desperate must have took 3 days to sing
Right.
because it was just like mechanical, It was
Like
like motion.
after you switch, did he come around? Did he kind of go, "Oh, I
I
get
think
it,"
I
or
think he gave up. I think he gave up on me fighting back, saying I can't do it, man. My performance is sucking.
right? Okay. Okay. So when you get done with it and you hear the finished product,
Mhm.
because like a lot happens in the mixing and all that shit.
Yeah.
Did it sound the way you were like, okay, that's what I heard, or did you hear it and kind of go, wait, what the hell happened to that?
Well, I was there for a lot of the mixing while he was mixing. I'd
Yep.
sit in the room and he would ask me for suggestions. What do you think about the snare tone? What do you think about this? That kind of thing. So a lot of it, most of it, he would give me the demo after the session. So I kind of knew where it was going.
Okay.
Uh, the one thing that did kind of freak me out a little bit, but everybody was doing it at the time. When it got into mastering, let's say your level is up to here 0. It got into mastering and it gets squished down to like -3. And there was a lot of bands doing that. Now it's like the wars are like +3
Yeah.
volume. You want Metallica.
Yeah.
But back then in 89, 90, if you really pay attention to the records, they might have been recorded at 0, but they're kind of like down here.
I
So I had the demos and I'd go, "It's this demo, man. It's big and wide and kicking ass." And then we master it and it's like, not anymore, you know? But
really.
yeah, I swear to God, man. But it would be like these excuses like, "Well, this is the way radio accepts it, blah, 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 this and that." And I didn't know. All I
Sure.
could do was know with my ears, hey, I got a demo that sounds better. You
Right.
know.
Right.
So
Okay. Okay. So you get done and you're like, all right, it's coming out in October of 89.
yeah,
What's the promotion? I mean, like the touring, the video plan. I know that
yeah,
you did three
yeah. Well,
singles, but go ahead.
Arista really did a good job, to be honest with you, for the first year. I mean, they promoted the hell out of us.
Yeah.
We had 3 videos.
Yeah.
Most people don't get 3 videos,
Right.
3 singles, and we were working on a 4th, before the plug was pulled.
Yep.
But the problem with Arista was and we didn't know it at the time. We just knew that they gave us the most money and they didn't have any rock bands, so we were going to be 100% focused on us.
Yep.
But their publicity department was, Whitney Houston, Taylor Dane, Kenny G. They had no rock department.
Yeah.
So let's say you're a guy that works at Arista and you call up the radio rock station, whatever it is, and you're like, "Hey man, you want to play some Babylon A.D?" Well, who are you?
Right.
I spin Kenny G, blah blah blah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there was a lot of that kind of stuff that we found out later, or as the process was moving. Like if a guy from Geffen was working our record, he would have no problem calling the radio guy. "Hey Bob, what's going on, man? Can you spin this band for me?" You know what I mean?
Because
So,
they'd already been working together for
exactly.
years.
And these guys and Arista made a brand new department for us. They hired 2 people for us
Sure.
that weren't really rock people.
Sure.
You know,
Sure.
that's what kind of started happening as you go along. You start, oh, you learn, you learn as you go, and you're like, oh, that's why we're not getting as much radio airplay as these guys because of that,
Right.
that kind of thing. And even MTV, they really didn't have it in MTV. They didn't really have the ends with them.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
I mean, we turn out a video and MTV would play it maybe 10 times or something.
Sure.
And that was it.
So you put out Bango the Bells, Hammer Swings Down, and then Robocop, the
Yeah.
movie comes calling. I mean, that you must have been like, shit, like, all right, here we go. We're going to be in this big movie.
Yes and no, because the thing was, whenever we did Hammer Swings Down first, and it was a great video,
Yep.
then we did Dangle the Bells, and nobody in the band, including myself, liked the video
Okay.
the way it turned out. We didn't like the editing. We
Sure.
were like, damn, man, there was so many better shots because we get to see some of the stuff before it's edited,
Yeah.
And like, who's doing the editing here, man? They don't
Yeah.
know what the hell they're doing.
Right.
So then we were about to release Desperate. Clive said, "Okay, we're going to release Desperate next. This is going to be the song that's going to break you guys. This is going to be the next Dream On. You guys are going to be bigger than Aerosmith." I mean, this is the stuff he called me sometimes, and start telling me this shit. And I'm like, right on, Clive, I was all fired up, yeah. Clive Davis called me and he said this. I go tell the guys in the band,
Right.
And all of a sudden, we're out on tour for a while. And it's about time to make that next video, make that next single. And all of a sudden we get the phone call from Orion Pictures. They said, "Hey, we want to use Kid Goes Wild and we'll pay for half the video and all the promotion."
Yeah.
So we went back to the label and said, "Well, if that's true, do we still get to release Desperate?
Yeah.
Because ballads were pretty big right then on the radio, you
Yeah.
know? And it was like everybody was breaking because of their ballad,
Yeah.
right? That's the way you broke right then. And it was right at the exact time.
Yep.
And so we were like, okay, you promise you're going to, yep, we're putting this song out no matter what.
Yeah.
Sure enough, man, we did Kid Goes Wild. We did everything. We were riding high, the dream all in your head where it's going to happen.
Yeah.
And, after about 2 months of riding that wave, it was like, okay, the band's thinking, all right, let's go back get ready to make the new video for Desperate. And our manager's like, okay, we're going to make Desperate video. And all of a sudden he calls us. He goes, I got some bad news. The guys at the record label want to move forward with you guys working on the next album. We're like, what? I mean, we were blown away. And they're like, yeah, it's been 16 months and you guys got good traction. You got the number 56, but we think with the new album, we're like, what about Desperate, man?
Yeah.
What about that song? This is Clive. I mean, I'm thinking about all the stuff Clive told me, and I'm like, what the hell, So
and that's not your average. That's not just your average ballad. That's a fucking. I mean, that song should have been massive. I'm just gonna say it.
Well, thank you very much. So it's you start learning all this stuff. You're like, man, the record company really has control of everything we do, huh?
Yep. Okay.
So it was kind of it was the biggest bummer, really, of our career, not being able to have a ballad come out when everybody else had a damn ballad. Extreme was #1 with their ballad, and whoever maybe Mr. Big, it's like, okay, time for our ballad, Yep. No, you guys don't get one.
Warrant and Skid Row, I mean, their albums were blowing up because of the ballads anyway. Yeah.
Guns N' Roses too, if you think about it. Sweet Child of Mine blew them open, and Welcome to the Jungle was a great song, but it didn't blow them up, explode them.
Yeah, exactly. Who did you tour with? I mean, because I think you mainly had, or go ahead. Who did you tour with on that album?
Yeah, so it was kind of weird because we were signed with the William Morris Agency, and then after that, on the first album, then we were signed to a Creative Artist, I believe it was, and the whole thinking was, it's kind of crazy to me, but I was like, okay. The whole thinking was, this is the way you used to break the bands in the 70s and 60s. You go out on the road and you pound pavement. You go, and you never open for anybody. You headline, even if it's clubs or bars or whatever it is, theaters. You are the focus, unless it's maybe a big festival.
Yeah.
And we got offers from Alice Cooper, a couple other people I can't remember off the top of my head right now, but and then we wouldn't take them.
Oh.
No, it was like, well, wait a minute. Well, how come we're not playing with, what the hell's going on? We're supposed to play with Aerosmith, go out with Aerosmith. Like, I didn't understand the logic at all.
Yeah.
But it was like, nope, you guys are headliners. But we're only playing for like 700 people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We for 70,000 or whatever.
Yeah. It
was a back-ass way of thinking, but like I said, man, we were young and dumb, and we didn't understand how the music business worked,
Yep.
And a lot of times when we tried to put our foot down, it would just seem like we're just, ungrateful little brats or something.
Right.
You know what I mean? When we're really just trying to say, look, man, we're artists. We're artists. We've been in the music business, now long enough to know what the hell's going on. And
yeah,
it's just, it's crazy, man. The music business is crazy.
Sure. And people think like, oh, the band has, oh, you can decide shit. And most of the time you're getting told what to do.
You don't even get to decide your album cover.
Right.
And when we sent our second album cover, we were like, what? No way. And they were like, too bad. We're like, this is orange and purple. What the hell's going on?
Right.
And the photo shoot that we did, there was no orange and purple in there. Right. It was like a cool, it was cool scenes. The next thing I was like, what is this? Looks like a Halloween album.
Right. Right.
So whoever was in control of the publicity and stuff, marketing, they had more sway than even we did. We didn't even get to say, no, we don't like this. It was like, too bad for you. We've already paid the money for the artist to do it. We're not going back.
Right. So the first album did have some success, though. I mean, you guys sold some albums.
Yeah, we sold quite a few albums on the first album. It really kicked ass. I think what happened on the second album was, Nirvana hit.
Sure.
Yeah, and I remember being in the recording studio at that time with talking with Tom Werman, and somebody goes, "Hey man, have you guys heard of this band Nirvana? They're on MTV right now." And it was they're getting really big. And so it was one of the A&R, no, it was one of the studio guys. And so we walked in there, we went, "Wow, that's a badass video. These guys are badass." We liked them right off the bat. And Tom Werman goes, "Yeah, they're gonna go somewhere." And a year later, yeah, they killed everybody.
Yeah. 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 Um, the first album came out at the end of 89. The second album came out in 92. So it was only 2.5 years, but it makes it sound like
It seemed like a lifetime,
it
really.
seemed like a long time.
Yeah, it was a long time because we thought we were, like I said, going to release Desperate. And we were writing songs, but we really didn't start writing till after we got off the road. And we were on the road for probably, a lot of people think that we were on the road, for a month or two or something like that, because they look at websites that say, Babylon A.D. concert tours previous, and whoever put it up there, I don't know, it'll say like 30 shows or something. I'm like, what are they talking about? Shit, man, we toured for like 3.5 years, it seemed like.
Right.
6 months before the first album came out, I mean, we were touring constantly
Right.
everywhere.
Right.
So and that's what it seemed to be about. Cause like I said, our management and our booking agents like, "You guys are gonna go the old fashioned way. You're just gonna grind, like
Right.
Aerosmith did when they first came out." And they're like, "Well, didn't they come out like 73? It's not the same anymore, you know?
Right. Right. Okay. So, and you get Tom Werman to produce the second album, and that guy was
Yeah.
fucking on fire at that time.
Tom was great, man. So that was another reason that it took so long, because Tom was backed up 6 months.
Okay.
We had to wait an extra 6 months to get him in the studio because he was doing Motley Crue. He was doing everybody, you know?
Yep.
And the funny thing was, like, Tom's very particular. And it was really, really cool that whenever he heard our stuff, he wanted to work with us because he could work with anybody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And put you in the queue and go, "Well, I'll work with these guys." But he really dug us, man.
Yeah.
And it was great working with him and Eddie Delana, his sound engineer. It was phenomenal, man. Working with him was totally different than working with Simon.
Okay.
Simon was a one-man show. He was an engineer and a producer. But Tom had Eddie Delana, the sound guy. Then they had a couple other sound guys helping, and Tom. And when I first met Tom, he came to our rehearsal studio, and by that time we had that learning curve that we'd already learned. Like, man, we got to be tight and ready to go. So we'd already been practicing a month, all the songs. We had 20 songs. We just practiced them to the death.
Sure.
When Tom showed up the first day, he went, "What am I supposed to produce? You guys already produced yourself."
Okay.
I really can't arrange anything. He had a notebook. He'd go,
Right. Right.
it's like all the arrangements were there, the breakdowns, all the stuff was there.
Sure.
You know what I mean? All we did was grind on those songs, man, till
Right.
they were ready to go. So it was easier for him too, because he didn't have to say, "You guys need you put a pre-hook here or do this there." You know what I mean?
Right. So the album comes out in 92, and like grunge is happening.
Yeah.
But I mean, and maybe you feel but like at the time, I didn't think that grunge, I was like, oh, here's just another kind of music.
That's what I thought too. But MTV made it a point where, like, no, anybody that looks like this is gone. Now we need the flannel shirts, shorter hair, no lead guitar. It was like a must,
Right.
and it's just crazy how MTV really, I think they really screwed up, man. They really screwed a lot of bands, a lot of music. All of a sudden they became this reality station. I mean, it's like, geez, man, do you really make more money just producing these reality shows?
Yeah.
They had a big audience, right? I mean, they could be massive right now. Who watches MTV now? I don't know anybody.
No.
Maybe because I'm older, but my sons, they're in their 20s. They don't watch MTV.
My son's 18, and I've never heard him talk about MTV ever. So,
but it could have kept on going if they were smart.
yeah. Did Arista like when grunge hit? Did they ever kind of go, hey guys, this
No,
new no, okay,
never. If you think about it, Arista Records never signed a grunge band either. They never signed any grunge band,
okay,
you know?
okay,
No, it was we were the rock band, and then they signed Every Mother's Nightmare and
yeah,
said, okay, now we got two rock bands. We're becoming a rock label.
yeah, right,
In their minds, I guess. But to us, it was like, you know, uh, but the second album, you know, I don't know if you've read any of the Sunday stories that we put
I've read all of them, and everybody needs to go like their Facebook page. These Sunday stories from Babylon AD are phenomenal. Anyway, I'll let you go, but they're amazing.
Yeah, well, so you know what happened, the very last one, the reason kind of like we were dropped and the whole
Yep,
thing. I
yep,
mean, what are you gonna do?
yeah,
We had two choices.
yeah,
Either be martyrs of some song that none of us liked and we felt like it was like an
yeah,
Archie's Sugar Sugar kind of song.
yeah.
I mean, it's a cool song, but it wasn't us, man. It just
Yeah.
wasn't us.
And I'm
And
hoping, and I know it's on the Facebook page. I'm hoping we can go into it a little bit just for the people who haven't. Um, and so Bad Blood was the first video,
uh-huh.
and it seems like maybe that and Take the Dog Off the Chain, and maybe I've heard you say this, but is that kind of a reaction to the record label, like not doing what you
That's exactly where I wrote those lyrics, kind of like tongue in cheek, like,
yeah,
and I think they started getting that too.
okay,
you know,
okay.
like, oh, he's writing about us,
Right,
but I was pretty
right.
pissed when they didn't do take the dog. I mean, sorry, desperate. I was pretty
Yeah,
pissed off.
yeah,
So those lyrics are about the record label, really. They're nothing about nothing else but the record label, but I tried
right.
to hide it as good as I could.
Sure, sure. So Bad Blood comes out, and now you're supposed to get finally the ballad that we're hoping is gonna. So Savage the Heart was supposed to be the next
It's like
single.
repeats itself like a whole nother. We shot a whole video. I think it cost 75 freaking $1,000. Went to New
Right.
York, Boston. There's three or four different plate locations we shot it in.
Yep.
And all of a sudden, and now Nirvana is really big. And
Yep.
Clive goes, I'm not sure this is gonna fit anymore with this is just what we were told.
Yeah.
I'm not sure this is gonna fit anymore with MTV's where they're going. We're like, we just what the hell? And he loved that song too.
Yeah.
He was like, okay, I know we messed up on Desperate, but this is gonna be the song. So it was like, geez, man, it was it really sucked, man. And the funny thing is they released
Yeah.
the single and cassette, but then they didn't promote it at radio, they didn't release it at video.
Yeah.
They just like kind of like made it and got ready to make to put it out there and give 100%, and then they gave 5%,
Yeah.
you know?
Um, and I think the video is on YouTube.
It is on YouTube. It has numbers running across it
Yeah.
because it's never been finished.
But it was
Whoever
never
makes the
finished.
video has the footage, but somehow I got a hold of that and some other people got a hold of it. It might even be the first original one that I seen. I'm not sure exactly how anybody else got a hold of it, but if you look at it, it has all the numbers running across.
Yes.
So it's like one of the first edits, and it's probably the edit that Clive Davis seen
Yeah.
and said, "No, they don't look enough like Nirvana. How are we going to get anywhere?" You know.
And that's such a great ballad. And I love the lyric when you say, you won the game by how much we'll never know, or by how much you'll, oh my, I'm like, oh, that's such a good line.
That's a
Anyway,
true story, by the way.
so okay, so it gets released as a single, but you don't get the video. Are you starting to kind of go, uh-oh,
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
right,
And we're out on the road all the time, so we don't know exactly what's going on. There's no cell phones back in those days. You
right,
want to make a phone call, you got to go to the fucking phone booth.
yeah,
There's
right,
no internet really. You get on and go, oh, what's going on with Babylon? All you
right,
get is word from the booking agent telling you something or your management telling
yep,
you something. Everything is like, secondhand. You
yep,
don't know. You're just like, okay, well, they said this,
yep.
you know. So and that's how we get into the psychedelic sex reaction fiasco. you know?
Psychedelic Sex Reaction, a song that you didn't want to put on the album.
No.
Right. Okay. So, but like we were saying, you don't, if the record label says you're doing this, you kind of have to do it.
Well, we had to do it because you know, Clive had flown me out 3 or 4 times to New York, and I'd sit in an A&R meetings. And for me, I felt like, wow, this is really cool, man. I'm hanging out with Clive Davis. Puts
Yeah.
me in a limousine, picks me up, takes me out to dinner, shit like that. And I'm like, I'm getting pretty puffed up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And and I'm sitting right next to him doing A&R things, and he's asking me my opinion of songs and things like that. So he heard from our A&R guy that we didn't want to do psychedelic sex reaction. I thought that might be just good enough. Like, well, Derek said the guys didn't want to play psychedelic sex reaction, but he called me up and he said, Derek, we got to talk about this song, psychedelic sex reaction. You know, so we talked. We went round and round, man, for probably a half hour, maybe more. And I know he was getting frustrated with me because I was saying no all the time, but in different ways. Like,
Yeah.
it's not really us, Clive. This and that, blah blah blah. I was trying to make some sense, and finally, I could just tell he got pissed, and he just said, "Look, until you write a song that is better than this song, and it is a big hit, like I think this song could be, because I think this song could explode you guys and put you on the scene. Until you write one of those, you are not coming out with another album.
Yeah.
So it's up to you. Record this song
Right.
or wait until you write another song that's as good as this, that I think is good as this.
Right.
It's up to you, Derek."
Right.
It was kind of like that. And that's really the last conversation I ever had with Clive.
Really? Okay.
Last one ever. And then he hung up and I went to the band. I said, fuck, we got to play Psychedelic Sex Reaction.
Did you just kind of think it was goofy or what? Like,
Yeah.
Okay.
We thought it was corny. We thought it would, I mean, look, every band has their niche, right?
Yep.
But we're not she's my cherry pie.
Yep.
We're not that kind of band.
Right.
We're not, like Poison, we're not like that. We're not that happy-go-lucky. Let's have a good time and be goofy. You know what I mean? We're like, fuck you, we're gonna kick your ass kind of band. So it didn't jive with us. We're like, slave your body. Boom.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And
Right.
it didn't go with us. It was like, man, the ballads are one thing. You're singing about love and things like that, but you're not putting in corny lyrics.
Right.
Oh, so savage the heart, you're smart, whatever, your fart smells so good, you know what I mean? It's a different way of lyric for me as an artist. It's a different way of looking at things. I look at things, a lot of stuff in black and white. I watch a lot of movies. And
Yep.
there's a lot of movies I go, that movie is cornball. Other people like it.
Yeah.
But I'm into hardcore, Tarantino, whatever, fucking Oliver Stone. I want
Right.
to see a movie that has grit. It's the same way I write my songs. I want grit in all my songs. I don't want any kind of like, oh, I'm commercial now. Look at me.
Right.
And I don't think most great artists like Prince or Tom Petty I don't think most great artists compromise. They
Yep.
don't compromise and go, oh, well, yeah, this is kind of cornball, but it could make me some money.
Right.
I don't think like that. I don't think like that either. It's like, fuck the money, man. I do this because I love music,
Yeah.
and I want to share what I have inside of me, not what is not inside of me. And then people think that it is me.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So you do record it, but you and the band vow you're like, fuck, we're not playing it live.
No. Yeah, that's exactly it. So we recorded the song and we dropped it like a key to try to make it heavier. And we always said, let's try to make this heavy as possible, that kind of thing.
Yep.
And yeah, so the record company, A&R guy, Randy Gersten, was there making sure I wrote all the lyrics just like the record company wanted. I get a rush when I touch you. I get a shock through my veins. It was like corny shit. You know what I mean? You're like a shot of Jimi Hendrix. It's like, okay, well, psychedelic sex reaction. Boom. It was like the Archies, man.
Right.
But I had to do it. We had to do it to get a record out. So I got to tell you a funny story that I've never told anybody. You will be the first person I ever tell.
Please.
Here's the craziest part. So I got Eddie Delana, the engineer. I wrote all new lyrics to the song, to Psychedelic Sex Reaction. And I don't remember them off the top of my head right now. But I had him record me singing all these lyrics. And all these lyrics were like, you really, I don't know, really suck. Da, 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 da. Everything was like, the lyrics were like really pointed to the record company.
Okay.
You fucking suck. Fuck you. Blah, blah, blah. Everything, but they fit. I mean, I probably spent hours writing these lyrics so they fit perfect. You think I'm going to suck a psychedelic sex reaction? Fuck you. It was really good. So what happened was I set a video camera up in the corner of the recording studio, and Eddie Delana knew that I did it, but Tom Werman didn't know, and our A&R guy Randy Gerson didn't know that I sang duplicate lyrics.
Okay.
Right? So they're sitting there, literally, this is crazy. They're sitting there at the board, big speakers going on, and I'm kind of chuckling because I know they're on camera, right? And all of a sudden the song comes on, kicking ass, right? And all of a sudden my lyrics start coming on. And these guys, they kind of like did these frozen looks, They kind of look at each other like, what the fuck? And then they start grinding again. And they look at each other like, you could tell they were saying to themselves, did he just say what I think he said? And I was in the corner and I was busting up. My stomach was ready to explode, laughing so hard because I knew they were on film and I was watching their facial expressions.
Oh, shit.
And when the song gets done, they go, is this a joke, Derek? I'm like, yeah, it's a freaking joke. They're going, why did you do that, man? Play the original song, with the original lyrics. But I played that for all the guys in the band, and a lot of people for a few years, and everybody laughed their ass off because of facial expressions of them, listening to my lyrics. It was great.
Yeah. Oh. Okay. So when did they decide it was going to be released as a single? And
Oh shit, man! So we were on the road, and I remember we were driving through Texas, and all of a sudden the bus driver goes, "Hey, I think I hear you guys on the radio,"
Yeah.
And we go, "What?" He turned up the radio, and all of a sudden there it was, Psychedelic Sex Reaction. The new single from Babylon A.D. That's how we heard about it.
No shit.
And we were like, "What the fuck?" Like I said, there was no internet them days.
Yeah.
There was no cell phones. I'd have to stop and get on a phone call at the phone booth with my manager, and yeah, so they flew everybody out at a Chicago gig a couple weeks later. We were supposed to play the song. They made this big box with rubbers in there and how to have safe sex and all this other shit. No, how to have psychedelic sex.
Okay.
I mean, it was really cool thing that they did,
Yeah.
but at the same time, it was like, wow, this is crazy. And the single was in there. And they spent a lot of money. Looking back now, it's like, wow, they spent a lot of money on this promotion. And we just basically gave them the finger and said, fuck you. You know what I mean? And they flew out probably 30, 40 radio programmers around the country. And they all thought they were going to come here, Psychedelic Sex Reaction. But we're from Hayward, man. And we a year earlier, when we were recording this song, we put our hands in the pot and we said, fuck that. We're never playing this song.
Right.
So when we got to the back of the bus at sound check, Ron, our guitar player, was the only one going, what are we gonna do, man? He was kind of kind of panicking,
Yeah.
We got to learn that song, man. And Danny was like, I don't remember what the hell the song was. And I was like, man, I don't know the lyrics anyways. Fuck it. We made a vow. We got to keep our word unless what kind of guys are we if we don't keep our word, man?
Yeah.
So we go up on stage, we play the whole set, we get off stage, go to our dressing room, and our manager comes back. He goes, "Hey, you guys, you get up there and play Psychedelic Sex Reaction." We go, "Okay, yeah, right, Jay." We get up there and we played a couple other songs, for our encores. I think it was an Aerosmith song and AC/DC. We used to play those for encores, and everybody went crazy. And then we get off stage, and our manager starts going crazy. You guy, get the hell up to play that song. Play that song. We're like, fuck you, man.
Yeah.
We drinking beer and going like, calm down, man. And he's like, you don't understand. You just killed your career. You killed your career. They flew in all these people and all day long we've been doing interviews with radio stations.
Yep.
And a lot of the guys were saying stuff like, "Hey, this is a pretty good song, but how come you didn't release Take the Dog Off the Chain?" And we're like, "Fuck if I know."
Yeah.
It's the record company's decision, not ours. And we
Yeah.
knew that Take the Dog Off the Chain should have been the single.
Oh,
It should have been the first single.
agreed.
So
Agreed.
yeah, so we didn't do it. And I swear to God, it was the funniest thing, man. We were always in a bus, treated like kings, royalty, and
Yeah.
we thought shit didn't stink.
Yeah.
All of a sudden one day we come out of the hotel room, our bus is gone, and there's a Winnebago in the front of the front of the freaking hotel. The record company pulled all the tour support,
Yeah.
you know, and they were just like, "You ungrateful bastards. We put a lot of money into you guys." And I can see their point of view.
Yeah.
But our point of view was like, "Yeah, but you don't understand. We're from Hayward, and if we give our word, that's what we say. And we tried to tell you from the beginning we weren't going to play that song."
Right.
You know? So we
Have
got
you,
dropped a few months later, but at the same time, everybody was getting dropped anyways. So it really didn't matter.
and even if you had played the shit out of it, it probably wasn't going to change anything.
Not going to change anything, except for we might have been known as the band that played Psychedelic Sex Reaction. You know?
Have you ever looked back and thought, shit, I wish we just would have fucking played the song?
I never do, but
Okay.
of course, my ex-wife says we should have. Other people said you should have. It's like, yeah, but see, you people are compromising people.
Right.
I'm not a compromising person. My word is my bond. I see things in black and white. I don't see things in color spectrums of maybe I think this one day, maybe I think that another day for the benefit of me making more money. It's not
Right.
about the money and me being famous for me. It's about the artistic value.
Right. Right. Um, so when do you find out that the label's gonna drop you?
It was a funny thing. This woman that worked there in the promotion, her name was Diane Gentile, and I'll never forget. She called me up at home, and she goes, "Hey, Derek, how you doing?" She'd call me maybe every 6 months. She was part of the promotion team at Ariston, and I said, "Oh, I'm doing." She goes, "How does it feel to know that you're going to be dropped?" That's what she said to me, and I said, "What do you mean?" She goes, "Oh, you didn't know?" She was kind of putting a dig in me
Right.
because a year earlier, what had happened was, this is another crazy story. I don't want to get too far into it, but she was on the bus and there was a big fight broke out and she got hit in the head. And she never forgot that she was on our bus and somebody punched her in the head, accidentally. Actually, it was an elbow to the head
Yeah.
by punching another dude.
Yeah.
One of our roadie guys go bam to her head and punch another dude, knocked him out.
Okay.
So she had never forgot that. And
Okay.
she was our friend up till then. After that, she kind of hated us. Like these,
Okay.
she told basically the Arista Records that we were out of control and, this and that, which probably was true.
Right.
But at the same time, she got that little dig in. How does it feel to know you're going to get dropped? And I didn't know,
Yeah.
but I could see the writing on the wall.
Yeah.
Because Warren got dropped like 2 weeks before. It's like, if they just got dropped and they sold 2 million records, we're going to get dropped for sure.
Right.
You know?
How was the tour with Roxy Blue and Wildside? I'll be honest, I love both of their albums from that year and your album, and I thought, anyway, how was that tour?
That tour was really fun, but that was really like one of our last big tours. I think it was because we had two other supporting acts that were good bands that played with us. The the craziest thing was by that time I kept to myself a lot.
Yeah.
I would do the show. I would go back to the dressing room, then I would go back to the bus, and I did a lot of reading and things like that. And I would just hang in my bunk. I didn't do a lot of partying because shit, man, I've been doing it for 4 years. It seemed like,
Right.
I was kind of like, and I was thinking about working on another record. I was thinking about the songs I was trying to write, things like that. I had a recorder with me.
Yep.
And I think this is just my premonition. I think they thought maybe I was stuck up because I didn't hang out with them all the time. This was their first big tour, both of those
Sure.
bands.
Sure.
I didn't hang out with them and, hey, what's going on, brother? Or shit like that.
Yeah.
And maybe 2 or 3 years before I would have, but
Yeah.
I didn't because by now I'd been on tour for 3 years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Off and on, but
Yeah.
enough to know how the road is.
Yeah.
And I was trying to save my voice a lot, so I didn't want to do a lot of talking, things like that. You
Right.
know, so I kind of think uh, I kind of think that maybe they thought I was stuck up or something,
Okay.
which I wasn't. It was just trying to stay to myself, you know.
Sure.
Um, but there was a few things that happened with those guys that was not called for. I can't go into a couple of them, but because they were green, I think, and they didn't know um, party aspect stuff, things like that. Because in my band, I don't let nobody do no cocaine, get all fucked up, and get out of control. You know what I mean?
Right.
Years ago, we did when we first got on the road. Not me, but other guys, and I would tolerance. But by the end of the situation, it was like, no, no, you guys aren't going to be doing that shit. You're not going to be going to New York, dropping the the cup down and taking your shit and fucking getting all whatever,
Yeah.
you know. And that shit was going around for a while. And
Yeah.
I think since this was like their major first big tour, that they were into the party mode and stuff, and I really just wasn't.
Yeah.
Um, I didn't really never get to know those guys.
Okay.
You know,
Okay.
I really didn't. You know,
Sure.
I know they had good albums and things like that, but I really didn't get to know them. You know.
Right. And I know, and
No,
both
but
of the singers of those bands, and you don't have to say it, but I interviewed Drew from Wildside,
yeah.
and he even opened up that his drug use got pretty heavy. He was in some serious trouble, and I know kind of the same thing happened with the lead singer of Roxy Blue too. So anyway, I'm
Yeah,
sure there was.
but you got to remember at that time there was a lot of partying going on, man. And like I said, by now I had already, you know, I had already been through the scene so
Right.
many times. It was like old. Just give me a
Right.
good book, man. I'm off stage at 12 o'clock or whatever, 1 o'clock.
Right.
Sign some autographs and give me some peace and quiet. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Um, after you find out about getting dropped, is there any thought of like, fuck this, we're gonna stay together and we're gonna try to get another record label,
No,
or
no, no. I think everybody felt like they've been kicked in the teeth and were defeated. There was
yeah,
no more record labels. Who were we going to go?
right,
Every major record label was dropping everybody.
yep,
So what were we gonna do? You
right,
know, we couldn't do
right,
nothing. But at the same time, it was like, well, you know what? We've been boys, thinking of ourselves as boys that just party all the time, 24 hours a day for years now.
yeah,
Maybe it's time for us to go back to grow up, you know, and have kids, get get married, things like that. And that's what we all did. We grew up. You
sure,
know, and then later on we put out Live in Your Face and American Blitzkrieg, about a 7 year period wait of stuff. But that was only because, like, hey, you know what, man, we could just do this on our own nowadays. There's an internet, there's a thing called the internet,
yeah,
and there's a thing called the cell phone, it's like
right,
that didn't exist back then.
right,
So we decided to, start moving slowly but surely to where we are now, on a different trajectory with a few new members, you
yep,
know, but it's the same core, me, John, and Ron.
right.
I think
So
we're just a better powered up a band that has better musicianship and better songwriting skills, better production values, and better show, man. I got to tell you, man, not toot the horn, but we're not one of those bands that just lay down when we get up on stage and go through it. We fucking kick ass. Like I always say before we get on stage, we make a little prayer and said, now let's go beat the fuck out of some people. And I see it as a fist fight. And I'm
right,
not gonna lose. And I'm thinking like Bruce Lee. You know
right.
what I mean? It's like, no, we're not gonna lose. We're gonna win those people over. And if they don't like it, we're gonna fucking beat them into submission until they do like us. You
Well, I
know?
hope I'm in Fargo, North Dakota. I hope I find a way
Oh,
to see you guys eventually.
Fargo, huh?
Yep, yep.
Awesome. I
Maybe,
love
may-
that movie.
maybe you guys end up like Minneapolis is fairly sometimes
Yeah,
bands, we don't get a lot of shit here in Fargo, but
yeah.
anyway.
Oh, that's
Um, so you mentioned the American Blitzkrieg album. In 2017, you get signed to Frontiers. Like, how does that come about for Revelation Highway?
well, I think somehow somebody at the record label heard that we were making a new record, and we didn't have anybody going to distribute it. Net. They just heard that we were making a new record.
Yep.
Babylon AD is making a new record, blah, blah, blah. You know, and then they contacted me and asked about it. And I said, well, I could send you some demos of the tracks if you would like to hear them.
Yeah.
And I did, and they said, "Whoa, we like these. Let's get this deal going," you know.
Mhm.
And we signed with them, and they put the record out. We did 4 videos with them and
Yeah.
everything. They gave us a decent advance and everything. Yeah, but the one thing about Frontiers, I got to tell you, I mean, maybe they're good for some bands, but they weren't really good for us in the end because they have so many bands that it's like each band gets 3 weeks or a month of attention, you
Right.
know.
Right.
So, and it felt like that right off the bat. You know, it's like, okay, your album's out. Hey, we give it a couple weeks and okay, you know.
Sure.
Oh, that's kind of like why we went to Tom at Paris
Yep.
because you know, it's very small label, it's boutique, and he's gonna try to push,
Yeah.
keep on pushing. Same thing with KLOL Records, who we
Right.
just signed with. They're gonna keep pushing because they
Right.
love music. They don't see us as like they don't have 50 other bands that they got to worry about every day. You know what I
Right.
mean? They just have us and a couple others, you know?
I talked to a lot of people on social media and stuff, and so many people talk about Rome wasn't built in a day, the album that you put out in 2024. I mean, people are talking about it like wow. And I was the same way. I was like, damn, I was listening, right when it came out.
Yeah.
And so a lot of people, so what do you, I mean, and not many people are putting out full-length albums these days, and you guys are putting out some of the best stuff of your career.
Yeah. You know, it's because we have a plethora of songs. There's we must have wrote 20 songs for this new album. And the last album was only put out, what, 15, 16 months ago.
Yeah.
We had 16 songs or 18 songs for that album.
Yeah.
So we're kind of like a machine. I'm always writing, always.
Right.
So I don't care if it's blues, soul, rock, I'm always writing. So I just put the songs that are rock into Babylon AD, the other songs that are something different into a different pot, you know.
Yeah.
Uh, and then the guys give me enough ideas, guitar ideas, so that I can make songs out of them.
Yeah.
And what's good is now that I have Craig as a bass player and Dylan as a drummer, they both are able to write too. So they could give me, hey, what do you think about this idea? You
Right.
know, so now I have more ideas to create from the palette, you know,
Right.
do the different, use different techniques to write good songs. Um, and I got to tell you, Rome Wasn't Built in a Day is a really good album.
Yeah.
Okay, just being honest, it's a really good album. But when you hear this new album, you are going to be blown the frick away,
Okay.
guarantee it.
Okay.
Because if you took like, there's 11 songs on Rome Wasn't Built in a Day, and there's like 4 really great songs.
Yeah.
There's like 8 great songs in this album.
Okay.
Really. I mean,
Okay.
you're gonna be blown away, brother. You're gonna be blown away.
Okay. I wanted to mention one song off Rome Wasn't Built in a Day because I think when when people watching this right now, if they look back at the band that said "Bang Go the Bells" and "Hammer Swings Down," the Face of God off Rome Wasn't Built in a Day, and I was like blown away when I heard that, and that's just not what I was expecting. And it's a real spiritual song. I mean, can you kind of talk about that aspect of you?
Well, that's always been in my veins. I mean, take Down the River of No Return on the second album.
Yeah.
You know, that's always been there. You know, I mean, I believe that I'm spiritually guided by God,
Yeah.
and He gave me my talent, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
I didn't develop it for some reason. He said when I was a little kid, "You're going to be a musician," and that's just what I 100% believe that.
Yeah.
I don't believe in anything. I believe there's 7 manifestations of this Holy Spirit, and
Yeah.
that's one of them. And I think I got that.
Okay.
But so when I was writing that song, I said to myself, "Man, I gotta pay a little bit of homage to, you know, to who I am."
Yeah.
And instead of I could write ballads all day long. Oh, baby, you left me, blah blah blah, and talk about my life, you know.
Right.
But to write something who I really am.
Yeah.
And it wasn't hard, to be honest. It wasn't hard. Man, it just popped right out. Like God
Yeah.
was telling me, it's about time you wrote a song about me. You know what I
Right.
mean? So, and I think it's very universal, you
Yeah.
know. Um, I'm very happy with it. Um, I like everything about that song. I love that song. You know, it's very hard to play live. So, you know,
Sure.
because you got the strings and the, you know,
Yeah.
thing. There's a couple songs in this album too that we won't be playing live because they're just too hard to play unless, you know, you hired a violin player and a string player and a piano player.
Right.
So you can be blown away on this album because there's a lot of different sounds and creativity. It's just not all right in your face. You know what I mean?
Okay.
It's
And I want to get and thanks for talking about that. I thought that was great that you just put that song out there and I love the message behind it. So I'm right there with you. So that was a great song. I do, and we're gonna talk about the new album, but you put out a bunch of I mean, you are prolific and you put out a bunch of solo albums. Revolt in 2012, Revolutionary Soul, Resonator Blues, kind of, and it seems like that's where you go to explore like your bluesier, your soul
yeah.
side. So I'll just kind of briefly, if you want to just talk about, the songwriting, like what you've done solo wise, and is that something that's going to be coming up in the future as well?
Yeah, I'll have a solo album released next year, and
Okay.
I'm torn between I have enough songs to make a hard rock Babylon A.D. sounding record
Okay.
or a real soul record like Bobby Bobby Womack type of thing.
Okay.
I'm stuck between which one do I release because I have enough songs to release. Like, is it going to be the soul album or is it going to be the hard rock album? You know,
Sure.
um,
Sure.
I've got some acoustic stuff too that's a little bit different.
Okay.
So for me, I'm always in my recording studio. I'm always writing.
Yeah.
My wife is always saying, "We got to do this, we got to do that," because you know you never seem to have enough time, and I get it, you know. But I keep trying to tell her, "You don't understand. While I'm sleeping, my ideas are overwhelming me. I
Right.
can't catch up with them.
Yeah.
I can't catch up. I feel like I'm always running behind like a rabbit or you know whatever it is, a hamster like
Yep.
this
Yep.
because my ideas are just spinning out. Just I can't catch up with them.
Yeah.
I need 24 hours a freaking day to record and to write and stuff. And not to say everything's going to be great, you know, or even good. I don't really know till I start putting it down. But they're there, and
Yeah.
I got to record maybe with my phone as fast as I can. I've got so many songs on my phone that haven't even seen my recording. I haven't even done anything with. But
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I know that one song is great. I play piano when I sing this stuff, and I did this. You know, all I have is 2 minutes worth, but it's a verse and a chorus, but melodic as hell.
Yeah.
It's like, where's this song fit? I don't know.
Yeah.
I have no idea, but somewhere, someday, it's going to be released. When I go, what about that one song that I wrote on piano? That's the baddest song, but I just haven't had no damn freaking time
Sure.
down.
Sure.
You know? So it kind of I can't say it sucks, but you know, most people get to live their lives and do a lot of different shit. You know, they have a lot of time to do a lot of different stuff, but I'm pretty much stuck in this songwriting world of producing, singing, writing,
Right.
playing all the instruments and, you know,
Right.
over and over like, you know, time warp. So and if I could, I do that, I live that, but I'd even do it even more, you know, if I could, you know, if I
Music,
had
music,
time.
music really seems to be your life.
It is, man. It's been running through my brain since I was a little kid. I don't think it'll ever escape. I actually tried to stop playing music, believe it or not, when I was in my 40s.
Okay.
I became a police officer for Oakland.
No shit.
Yeah, believe it or not, my wife and all my family thought I was nuts. I quit playing music. I started working out every friggin' day. I went to college. 8 months later, I was working at the Oakland Police Department, OPD. And I worked there
Wow.
probably about 2 months. And I said, whoa, what was I thinking?
No shit.
Everybody in my life was correct. You do not want to be a police officer. And I was like, yes, I do. Because it was the only thing in my life besides music growing up that I wanted to be. I always wanted to be a police officer if
Okay.
I was a musician. So now here I was like, well, I'm still young enough. I'm still fast enough. I could still do this, you know? And sure enough, man, I started working for the OPD, and within about a month or two, the stuff that I seen, I don't want work on their worst enemy. I was like, there is no way I'm going to be a police officer. No friggin' way. And so when people talk about police in a bad way, they did this, they do that, man.
Yeah.
All I can say is, no, man, you don't know what they go through.
Yeah.
They go through freaking hell at the moment they wake up, the time they go to sleep.
Yep.
You know, they're under so much pressure, so much stress. You can't even understand for a
Yeah.
second, you know?
My
So
my brother is a cop out in North Dakota, and we were both in the military. So I'm right there with you. I'm
exactly what I'm
like,
talking about then.
yeah, yep,
Yeah. It's a big
yeah.
responsibility, man.
And you wrote a song in that was released in 2022 that what is up is down,
Yeah.
and I'm right there with you. It seemed to be a very I'll maybe let you describe it, but what was the message behind that song?
I think you know what that was.
Yeah.
Everything was up, it's down, right?
Yep.
Everything, that reality that we all grew up with was like, what do you mean? I'm canceled because I think like this? It's like, what is going on in the world, man?
Yeah.
Frick? How did it even get to that?
Yeah.
And I just thank God that it kind of the pendulum has been swinging back to
Right.
reality and common sense.
Right.
You know?
Right. Everything that was normal like 10 years ago, like all of a sudden you were like, what the fuck happened?
Yeah.
Like, yeah,
I know. Crazy.
completely with you. Okay. All right. So when the world stops, Kive, Kybal Records, and I know I've heard of that record label. I know I bought something from them because I think they've done some other rock bands.
Yeah.
Uh, so coming out in August, we're talking?
Single will be hitting the streets August 7th. When the World Stops will be the song. We're making the video next week.
Okay.
And then the record, When the World Stops record album, comes out the third week of August, right before we hit the UK. We're going to do a tour over the UK and Greece.
So the title track is going to be the first single.
Right. And then we already have two more videos being made as I'm speaking to you right now. So we know we're going to do three or four singles deep,
Yep.
you know.
So what can you tell me about that title, the song "When the World Stops"? What was your thinking when you wrote that?
Well, when I write lyrics, the music's just playing, and all of a sudden I'm like, baby, when the world stops, I go, hey, that sounds pretty cool.
Okay,
That's basically kind of how it happens.
sure. Okay,
Something pops in your head, melody usually, and it's
sure.
like da 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 da
Yeah.
da da da. Baby, when the world stops and the bombs drop, it'll be all right. Oh, I got an idea. Now I know what I'm going to sing about.
Okay,
That's how it usually happens for me. I kind of get like the idea of the chorus, you know,
sure.
somehow subconsciously or whatever. And then the funny thing is, I wrote this song when I was on vacation in Mexico, and my
Okay.
wife and my friends that were with me kept going, "What are you doing?" Because we'd be driving in a car doing something, and I'd be like mumbling to myself, "What are
Right.
you doing?" I'm writing a song. What do you mean I'm writing a song? I'm writing a song. I'm trying to make sure I don't forget it.
Right.
Then I get back to the hotel, you know, and I
Right.
get the acoustic out and the recorder, and I keep working on it
Right.
until it becomes a song, you know. And I think most of the songs, I would say most, but I'd say at least 50% of them happen like that. Soon I get a good melody.
Yeah.
As soon as I get a melody that fits the music, because you want you to fit the music, uh, then all of a sudden, when I think of like what the title is as I'm going singing, oh, that's what it's about. It's about two lovers at the end of the world.
Okay.
Oh, that's what it's about. So how do I write about two lovers at the end of the world? You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
then I start putting all the lyrics together to, and all the songs that I write, I see as miniature movies.
Okay.
Right? A beginning, middle, and an end.
Okay.
That's how I always try to write songs, so that there's a story. A lot of people don't do that, and a lot of people don't even know that I'm trying to do that. You know what I mean?
Okay.
But really, I'd say 90% of the songs that I write, there's some kind of story that actually you could follow. and that's why it's a little bit easier to make videos because I do most of the videos too. Because I tell, hey, all we got to do is follow the storyline.
Sure.
There's a storyline. It's just not like she's my cherry pie or come on, feel the noise. What's the storyline there?
Right.
Just feel some noise and party.
Right.
Okay, but is there a beginning, middle, and end? Is there a story? No,
Yeah.
it's just a feel good, happy jump around thing.
Were
You
there
know,
are there any songs on the new album that you feel like, wow, that was a left turn for me? That was unexpected.
there's a song on there called Osuki, really left unexpected. I mean, people are going like, man, when they hear the demo, they're going like, fuck, that song could be a hit in Japan.
Okay.
It's a really, really funky kind of like My Sharona kind of song. It's different,
Okay.
poppy but heavy.
Okay.
You know?
All right.
When you hear the album, you'll hear there's a lot of different songs on this record, a lot of different colors. You know what I mean? It's
Sure.
not just all just Babylon A.D. grinding you kick your ass. There's a lot of different stuff. There's a song on there called "Love Is Cruel." It's a masterpiece. I'm gonna tell you, buddy. There's
Okay.
a there's a what's kind of crazy is our bass player Eric used to be our bass player before he passed away. Eric Pacheco. Um, his wife Julie is a professionally trained, beautiful piano player.
Yeah.
And so when I wrote this song, I said, Julie, will you play on this song? She said, let me hear it. And this is about 3 or 4 years ago, maybe even longer. So she knew the song and she'd already practiced it a bunch of times. She came to my studio and blew it out in about 2 hours. And so at the end of the song, when the song's over, it's a typical at the end, it's 4 minutes, 30 seconds, or whatever.
Sure.
Now you play Julie the solo and grand piano. I mean, she busted out for 2.5 minutes.
Yeah.
Beautiful piano solo that has all the melodies of the song.
Right.
So, I mean, it's not the typical Babylon AD where you're going to have a lead at the end going, "Well," you know what I mean? No, man, it's going to take you in a whole different like atmosphere.
Okay.
So there's a lot of that kind of stuff on this new album.
Awesome. Awesome.
Pretty cool.
So when the world stops, looking for that in August. Now I'm freaking excited, and like I said, I thought the last album, Rome Wasn't Built in a Day, was phenomenal. So if you're telling me this one's gonna top it, then I
It
can't.
is. It is. I guarantee it. And if not, when we have the next conversation, you're going to have to tell me why it doesn't.
Okay. And you're welcome to come back on when it comes out. If you want to like
Absolutely.
do a
That'd be
track
cool,
by
man.
track or something, I'd love to do something like that.
Let's do it.
So we've got and so I want everyone to go check out the Facebook page. And are you going to continue doing those Sunday night things, or was that kind of where it was going to
Well,
stop?
that was basically it, right? I mean,
Yeah.
I figured 10 I mean, we could keep going and tell
Yeah.
about what's going on right now, but
Sure.
I mean, that's basically the
Yeah.
finality of the
Yeah.
band. You know what I mean?
Right.
What
Okay.
it was.
Yeah.
So,
But
but
I will put in the description your Facebook page so people can follow and keep up with what's going on with the band. You have BabylonADBand.com. You have a YouTube page. And then you have DerekDavisMusic.com. And then you have your own YouTube channel. So
okay.
I will put all of that in the description. Is there anything else that I missed that you want to let people know or that they can follow?
I think so, man. I appreciate everything that we've been talking about. It's pretty cool that you just let me ramble on.
No, absolutely. It was a blast, and I just I do a lot of these, and your passion and your drive to continue doing new music just really shines through. So, man, it has been an honor and a pleasure to talk to you.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it.